November 3rd, 2007. A quiet evening in Stella, Missouri. 9-year-old Rowan Ford had spent the day playing, laughing, and being the innocent child everyone adored. But by morning, she was gone. What followed was a week of desperate searching, a horrifying discovery, and a betrayal that shocked the entire community. In this installment of Chasing Cases, we reveal the chilling story of Rowan Ford's murder. A story of innocence lost and justice served. Before we unravel, be sure to like and subscribe to stay up with us for more stories like these. Stella, Missouri wasn't the kind of place where terrible things happened. It was a quiet, close-knit town where life moved at a gentle pace. Neighbors greeted each other on front porches, doors were left unlocked, and children played freely without fear. It was the kind of place where people trusted one another, where parents felt safe letting their kids roam the neighborhood, knowing someone was always watching out for them. Among them was Rowan Ford, a bright and kind-hearted 9-year-old girl who had an infectious laugh and a love for adventure. She was a 4th-grade student at Triway Elementary School, a girl who loved reading, playing outside, and spending time with her mother. She had dreams just like any child, dreams of growing up, exploring the world, and finding her place in it. She was the kind of child who left an impression on everyone she met, with a smile that could brighten even the darkest day. But on the night of November 2nd, 2007, her world, her family's world, was turned upside down. That evening, her mother, Colleen Munson, left for work, trusting that her daughter was safe in the hands of her stepfather, David Spears. It was an average November night, nothing out of the ordinary. Rowan should have gone to bed like she always did, her small frame curled under the covers, safe in the home she knew. But by the time Colleen returned home the next morning, something was wrong. The house was eerily silent. The front door was unlocked, slightly ajar, as if someone had left in a hurry. And Rowan's bed was empty. Panic set in. At first, Spears played the role of the concerned stepfather. He told authorities that Rowan might have run away, his voice shaky as he described how he had gone out with friends and returned to find her missing. But something didn't add up. Rowan had no history of running away. She was not the kind of child who would just leave in the middle of the night. She loved her home, her mother, her routine. And if she had left, where would she have gone? She left without any extra clothes, no money, no way to fend for herself. As each hour passed without news, hope and fear became intertwined. The small town of Stella held its breath, desperately clinging to the possibility that Rowan would be found safe. But deep down, an unsettling feeling was creeping in. Something wasn't right. And the truth, when it finally came out, would be more horrific than anyone could have imagined. Authorities launched an exhaustive search effort to find Rowan. Flyers bearing her photograph were distributed throughout the region, and search dogs combed through fields, forests, and abandoned buildings. Volunteers from Stella and neighboring towns scoured every corner, calling out her name, hoping for a response. The local media covered the story extensively, urging anyone with information to come forward. But as days passed with no sign of Rowan, the initial hope that had galvanized the community began to wane. Fear turned to dread, and the once tight-knit town was left questioning how something so terrible could happen in their quiet corner of the world. Investigators focused their attention on those closest to Rowan. David Spears, her stepfather, quickly raised suspicions. He appeared anxious during interviews, and his accounts of the night Rowan disappeared were riddled with inconsistencies. His timeline didn't align with known facts, and his answers were often evasive. As detectives delved deeper, another name emerged: Christopher Collings, a 32-year-old friend of Spears. Collings had a history with the family, having lived with them for several months earlier that year. Rowan affectionately referred to him as Uncle Chris, and he had been at the house the night she vanished. On November 9th, 6 days after Rowan's disappearance, Collings was brought in for questioning. Under the weight of evidence and persistent interrogation, he broke down and confessed. He admitted to abducting Rowan, taking her to his trailer, sexually assaulting her, and then strangling her in a panic. His confession led investigators to a grim discovery. Rowan's lifeless body was found in a cave in rural McDonald County, covered with leaves and debris. The moment the words left Collings' lips, the faint glimmer of hope that the community had clung to was extinguished, replaced by profound heartbreak and a deep sense of betrayal. A secluded cave in McDonald County, Missouri, 20 miles from Rowan's home. Inside, investigators found the lifeless body of the 9-year-old girl. She had been strangled and discarded like she was nothing but simple trash. But to the people of Stella, she was everything. The autopsy revealed that Rowan had been brutally assaulted before being murdered. The details of her final moments were almost too horrific to comprehend. The reality of what had happened to this innocent child sent a ripple of grief and outrage throughout the town. The news shattered the community. How could this happen to someone so young, so full of life? Vigils were held, candles lit, prayers whispered, but no amount of love could bring Rowan back. Collings' confession was chilling. He admitted to taking Rowan from her home, assaulting her, and then strangling her in a fit of panic. But the story didn't end there. Spears, Rowan's stepfather, the man who was supposed to protect her, was also implicated. He had been there, he had known, and he had done nothing to save her. The betrayal was beyond comprehension. Spears had initially played the concerned guardian, participating in searches and speaking to police. But behind closed doors, he was hiding the most horrifying truth of all. He had been complicit in the murder of his own stepdaughter. Neighbors who once trusted him now recoiled in horror. The man who had lived among them, who had smiled and waved, was a monster. The town of Stella demanded justice. In 2012, Christopher Collings was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to death. Years of appeals followed, but on December 3, 2024, his fate was sealed. Collings was executed by lethal injection, his final words expressing remorse for his crime. But remorse could never erase the pain he had caused. David Spears, in a plea deal, was sentenced to 11 years in prison for his role in the crime. For the people of Stella, no sentence could undo the pain, but at least there was some measure of justice. Yet justice did little to fill the void left by Rowan's absence. Years later, Stella still bears the scars of what happened. But in Rowan's memory, the town has built something positive. A memorial garden where children play, where families gather, where the town's innocence, though shattered, is remembered. Rowan Ford's story is a painful one, a reminder that sometimes monsters aren't strangers lurking in the dark. They can be the ones we trust the most. But in remembering her, the town of Stella has vowed to protect its children, ensuring that Rowan's light never fades. Her name lives on in the hearts of those who loved her, a symbol of the town's resilience and its promise to never forget. The tragedy of Rowan Ford is one that will never be forgotten. It's a story of heartbreak, of betrayal, and of justice. But more than anything, it's a story of a little girl who deserved so much more. Another case unraveled, but many more to come. There are hundreds of stories out there like these, and they're always worth the chase. So make sure you're subscribed and ready for the next one by hitting that bell. From all of us at Chasing Cases, stay vigilant, stay curious, and keep chasing cases.